Hello. So I thought it might be interesting if I shared my experiences as a late diagnosed autistic adult. I'm 20 and I got diagnosed a couple months ago. So, this is less about me, being a source of information and more about sharing my own journey. But yeah, I first noticed, well, I first suspected I had autism as a teenager, like around 15, 16. I spent a lot of time online as any person my age would do. And, as an autistic person, that made me even more online because I didn't really have any real in person friends. And I guess I was involved in lots of different online communities. And, some of the people who I talked to were autistic. I ended up noticing that I got along a lot better with autistic people than I do with non-autistic people. This proved itself to be true again when I started college. I had a really bad experience freshman year. I got cyberbullied by those who lived in my dorm on my floor, and I was just really alone. I ended up making a friend who lived in a different dorm, and he is autistic and had higher support needs, I think. And I think that being able to spend time with him and like understand what autism can be in terms of like a nice sensory friendly room and a nice quiet conversation where you don't have to talk. Like I think that being able to hang out in person with other autistic people helped me realize like that I am autistic as well. So, why did I think that I was autistic before getting diagnosed? Um, I think that I had a lot of different traits that made me different, and I think that like from my some of my very first memories, I think that I remember like just feeling like I'm just clumsier and not as good at things as the other kids. Like I don't remember that many things from my early childhood, but I do remember this picture. It's just of me in preschool, taking a marker and coloring a little pumpkin. And because that moment was preserved in photograph, I can still remember that moment. And I remember just feeling like, why can't I get my hands to do things? Why can't I make art? And I think even now that still rings true. Like, I'm not good or creative with my hands. My handwriting is very bad. Like all of elementary school and most middle school, I had to do everything in school, like handwriting. And like my handwriting is not only like pretty bad, but it also like really hurts. Like I think I might have dysgraphia where it just like hurts my hand to write. And it was tricky because it was like I'm a smart person, but there are just certain things that are just so painful that I couldn't do right. Other reasons why I think I suspected I had autism was because like I've I have always been one to take things very literally. My family used to get mad at me because I'd always say technically, to clarify something. And it's not that I'm trying to be a bitch. I'm just trying to like be as accurate as possible. I know I would also used to get like very overwhelmed with loud sounds and sights, and I wouldn't always be able to verbalize that. I also have like a pretty long history of not being able to like understand my feelings, whether like emotionally or my physical sensations in my body. So I think a lot of those things combined helped me realize that like maybe that there's something different with me. Because of course, that doesn't even start to go into all of my social experiences and how I'm very, very bad at friendships and relationships and people. And yeah, I could just like go on and on and on about how different I am when it comes to friendships. But one thing that's different about me was I moved to a new country when I was very little. So I always felt out of place in elementary and middle school and high school because I was still learning to speak the language. And, I felt that everyone treated me different because I was American. But I think over time I started to realize it's not just because I'm American, it's also because I'm American and I'm also trans and I'm also autistic. And there's just something inherently different about me. And I went through middle and high school with this feeling that there is something inherently different about me that I will never shake. And I think that's one of the main things that motivated me to go seek out a diagnosis. After being diagnosed with autism, I think that I experienced life a little bit differently. Um, I know online other people say that they sometimes feel like they're a little bit more autistic. I guess I feel that too. It's because I'm finally allowing myself to unmask. And I think that's really nice that I'm able to do that. And I feel like I'm also more able to like look online and like shop for STEM toys. I mean, I haven't really bought anything, but like I like look at them and like I think that because I have a diagnosis, it's easier for me to allow myself to make accommodations for myself. Because I went so long thinking that I don't deserve it because I'm a smart kid. I'm physically healthy for the most part. It's like, why would I need an extra accommodation? Then I'm realizing that, even though I have good grades and I can, bike places and do whatever and such, that doesn't mean that there are other things that I don't need help with. And I think it's really nice to be able to acknowledge like where I need help and how I can help myself. Because one thing that the diagnosis has done for me is allow me to stim more freely, which has really helped me, especially in stressful situations or when I'm taking the bus. Because I know I used to be very afraid of people judging me, and I still definitely am. But now that I have the diagnosis, it's like you're judging an autistic person. You're not judging someone who's just weird. Like, I have a reason to be like this, and it's okay. Because, like, now that I have the diagnosis, it doesn't feel like there's something inherently wrong with me. It just feels like I'm a little bit different, and that's all right.